going to be beginning our sideboarding adventures. As you can tell, part of the reason that mine and Ryan's deck are so very different are because of the sideboards. Now, I actually run a little bit of a tech in my main deck where I run one Destructive Revelry, and so that's a little bit of a good main deck card as a one of for me. You can see clearly I have a little bit of a mix of colors in my sideboard. I have a Crowsand Grip, which is actually requiring a green mana, and Surgical Extraction, which essentially this thing is colorless because you never actually pay the black mana. Other than that, I'm going to be focusing on primarily in this matchup using things that would allow me to gain a little bit of an advantage over another burn deck. In a matchup such as this, I would be using probably a Surgical Extraction to help me get along, and perhaps if I was really wanting to tech out, I could even use something like a Spell Shock to help the game go up a little bit faster. And even under rare situations, a Pithing Needle can stop a Grim Lavamancer, but that's more situational, not so much. It's not going to be a card that's going to make a huge difference in a burn versus burn matchup, so I'm not going to be focusing my attention on that part right there. So let's go over to Ryan.
So my sideboard is quite a bit different. I have Thalia. Thalia is a terrible card to be played in Burn. However, since I'm playing Burn vs. Burn, non-creature spells cost 1 generic mana more to cast. And it's pretty nice that he plays less lands than me and less creatures than me. So, in advantage-wise, they both make quite a bit of a difference. Now, I want to get rid of my Price of Progresses from my main board because they are almost guaranteed to be useless in this match. And because the Sulfuric Vortexes cost 3 mana, I also want to sideboard out those, and these are not actually good in the matchup, but they're creatures, and they're better than the Sulfuric Vortexes in this particular instance.
All right, and let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to continue on with our sideboarding, and we'll get into our round 2.
I will be playing first because I lost the last match.
Shuffle it up real good, and we will begin our round 2. Good luck to you, sir.
You too.
Let's take our 7 together. And Ryan will be kicking us off here.
Alright, I am good to go.
I am good as well.
Attempt a Vexing Devil.
Well, I unfortunately carry no Force of Wills in my deck, so in a rare situation such as this, I will be killing the Vexing Devil straight to the graveyard, putting myself down to an instant 16 damage, or 16 life. It would be quite different if I was at 16 damage. Ryan did himself a favor, put himself down to 19. All right, good sir.
It's your turn.
this is how you play Burn. Start things off simple. Goblin Guide. GG. Alright, good game. I just saw one of the scariest cards in the deck. Ryan takes 2 damage.
Indeed I do.
And it is Ryan's turn. Good sir.
Remember to draw the card. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Ryan likes to live on the edge. That's why he plays Plateau in the face of Price of Progresses. Of course, he also loves to play Thalia in his sideboard, which is a bit of a problem, especially considering that thing has First Strike. A little bit of a pain to deal with that card.
And you may go.
The good news is that Ryan did no damage to me on his turn. So I will be continuing on with my turn. Casually drawing cards. And I will go ahead and play myself a little mountain. I will then begin very simply by suspending Mr. Riftbolt.
The Riftbolt suspend cost does not activate until his next turn. The making the casting cost cost one more.
And so this just kind of gets to float in the exile zone. By the way, this is on exile. This is not actually on top of my deck. So that'll be there for ease of use. I am not going to swing into a 2/1 First Striker, so I'm going to pass the turn.
All right. So because this is a creature, I can pay its cost right straight forward, and then I can attack with my 2/1.
In a situation such as this, I'm going to be accepting the damage gladly and taking myself down to 14. And that Eidolon is also a problem, so
You can go ahead.
all right. Upkeep, and now I have to remove the time counter from my Rift Bolt. Thalia requires that I pay 1 more in order to cast the spell, so I'm going to pay the 1, and so now I can actually cast it. Now, when I cast it, I get a trigger that goes on the stack from Eidolon. Eidolon deals me 2 damage when this thing gets put on the stack. I'm going to target Thalia here. Thalia is going to get hit right in the face for 3 damage. But I get in the face for 2 damage as well. So now I go to my draw step. And we're just going to start it off simple. Put down a land. Now I have a lot of options here. For starters, I'm going to just swing right in with Goblin Guide. Goblin Guide is going to see another Goblin Guide.
And then I'm going to take 2 damage.
Ryan will bump himself down to 2 damage. It is a relatively close game so far. Not too much in the way of difference. I'm actually going to play 1 more spell this turn, make it a little bit more challenging on Ryan's end. So let's go ahead and play a Goblin, or excuse me, either Eidolon of the Great Revel. And now, whenever we play converted mana cost 3 or less spells, we will be taking 4 damage. So, I took 2 from that, now it's Ryan's turn.
So I will take the 4 damage, putting out a Goblin Guide, and then I will attack for 4 with the Eidolon and the Goblin Guide, causing the Goblin Guide to trigger first.
We do have a trigger off of a Goblin Guide, and I do happen to have a sideboard card in there. This is a Destructive Revelry. This is actually the sideboard card which is run in my main deck. Not the card I want to see, unfortunately. So, that card is the card on top. Do I want to take 4 damage is the question. I'm only at 10. Ryan himself is also at 10. So in a situation such as this, I think it's just safe to go ahead and trade. We'll kill each other's Eidolons.
And because he did that, I am going to play a Rift Bolt.
And it is suspended on top of his library until next turn.
And he can go ahead.
Draw that nice, fancy, shiny, destructive card. Now, I have a few different options here. I'm just going to start off simple, and we're going to go in for 2 damage with Goblin Guide. Ryan will take a Bloodstained Mire to his hand. And so the game is pretty even right now. It is 8-8. We have a pretty close matchup that we're going to be having at this point. I will actually go ahead and fetch myself down to 7. And hopefully Ryan does not have some way to interact to kill me at this point. Just going to go ahead and play a basic mountain. No real reason to grab a Taiga. I have no artifacts or enchantments to actually target. If Eidolon was out in a situation such as that, I could have chosen to kill an Eidolon, but Eidolons are all dead. So we're just going to avoid any type of interruption. We're going to go start things off simple, Price of Progress, and that
deals 2 damage to
do
me.
2 damage to each player for each non-basic land they control. Ryan controls just the 1 plateau. 2 damage it is. And I am now in the lead because of that move. I also have a second Price of Progress because my hand is overloaded with these things. And typically this is the card you want to side out in burn versus burn matchups. This is one of those rare exceptions where you actually have a target for this in a burn matchup. And so it goes symmetrically with both of mine and Ryan's deck. We both run non-basic lands. Now, I'm going to finish Ryan off with a Fire Blast, dealing 4 damage to him when he is at 4, putting Ryan down to exactly 0.
I will respond with a Fire Blast that will not kill Charlie.
Ryan will now attempt in response, putting myself down to a whole 3 damage. I guess 3 life is more appropriate. And yeah, that's game. GG, everybody. And hope you enjoyed Burn vs. Burn in Legacy.